Welcome back to the Donkey Kong Country 2 playthrough, folks, and it's time for some Rattle Battle. Rattle Battle, Rattle Battle, Rattle Battle, yeah. Anyways, it's that, snake dude again. This was a level I mentioned earlier that I'm not the biggest fan of, just because level design's a little obnoxious and you just gotta be really careful sometimes. Don't let this, snake dude's high jump fool you. It's not always the best route to go. Rattly, I mean, yeah. But, you just gotta look out. You just gotta be real careful with timing your jumps. And sometimes, like a jump like that, I could have just bounced off the bee, but I don't know, I didn't trust it enough because I had died there plenty of times when the bee would move or I didn't time my jump properly. See, that's pretty much what it's about here. Just time your jumps properly. Look out for all the nonsense, and you should be okay. Oh! Yeah, no banana coin this time. Oh yeah, those bees, they make a oh noise. I like the noise. Kind of reminds me of this dude I used to work with. He had the most annoying laugh. It was like... But anyways, moving on here, this, I guess it's supposed to be swamp water is why it's green like that. I would hope that's why. I'd hope, like, it's not something far worse, like somebody spilled a bunch of green food coloring in it, or somebody's septic got backed up. Ooh! But anyways, should be alright, folks. Everything's gonna be alright. Just gotta make this jump here. And yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Now, sometimes in these levels, you'll have barrels that only Dixie or Diddy can enter. And apparently there's a DK barrel I missed somewhere because I was hearing it in the background. Oh, this ain't no alliteration, but it rhymes. It rhymes. It's slime, climb, rhyme. But this level kind of disappoints me too. I don't care much for a lot of these swampy levels, honestly. This one's not much of an exception. So you got that stupid piranha that'll gobble you up anytime at once if you get into the water, and you just gotta avoid the water. Easier said than done sometimes, though, because there are plenty of times where I just fall into the water rises too soon, and it's just gotta be careful. Just gotta be careful when you make these maneuvers in Donkey Kong Country 2. Sometimes it's not the maneuver you want it to be, and you just gotta be careful. Now, there's a banana coin, indeed. That was definitely a banana coin. That was most definitely a coin with a banana on it. Or no, it had a bunch of bananas on it. But it was a little bit out of reach. I'm not going out of my way for stuff that isn't really necessary for me to go out of my way for. At least not all the time. And then bonk. Just bounce off that enemy. I sure hope the frame rate's not severe. Oh god. Of course I managed to get hit. Do I save it? Yeah. Barely made it. But I notice sometimes whenever I record this, the frame rate will take a hit. I don't know if that's because of the Wii I was recording on, or if that's because of the capture software. But sometimes it'll be a little non-cooperative, but I got a bunch of bananas. Now, if I would have had Dixie Kong, I could have grabbed the invincibility barrel and grabbed that DK coin. But it's not really all that important. Well, let's keep things moving along. This is Bramble Blast. Yes, it's that level. The level that has the song everybody loves. I love this song. I think a lot of people love this song. I know a lot of people like it more than the levels itself. The Bramble levels are kind of difficult. Some of the more difficult levels in the game. And this is more so just a maze of barrels and timing everything. But yeah, the Bramble levels are all pretty difficult. But the music makes it oh so worth it. God, I love this song. It's so good, it's so ambient, it's peaceful. Best song in the game by far. Definitely one of the best songs in the entire trilogy. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but aquatic ambience in the first game. Yeah, that doesn't hold anything on this one. That's got nothing on this one. I sure do like the Bramble themes. And I sure wish that the Donkey Kong Country Trilogy soundtrack CDs weren't so freaking expensive. Because I would definitely like to own those at some point. I'm sure my friend Mike, who's an even bigger Donkey Kong Country fan than I am, I'm sure he'd like to one day. But not when those CDs are like fetching hundreds and even thousands of dollars. It just doesn't make any sense. But I'm sure at this point they've been ripped to YouTube. But, I mean, it's still a little frustrating, especially as a CD collector. It's just like, sometimes there's CDs that I want to get, but they're just way too overpriced, and... But I guess that's the case with anything, even with games. It's like, it took me a while to finally get a copy of Pokemon Emerald for my Game Boy again, because that game is so freaking expensive now. It's like, why? It's Pokemon. It's sold millions of copies, it shouldn't even be this way. But I guess if there's demand for it, and there's if they're not currently in production anymore, I mean, I guess it's gonna jump up in value, but still, there's no reason why Pokemon Emerald should cost the price of a Sega Saturn game. Which I guess is now kind of the price of a lower-end Sega Saturn game, considering most of those games are quite expensive. Believe me, I know. I own Panzer Dragoon Saga and Burning Rangers. Easily the two most valuable games in my collection. But some things I like to collect, like music and games and NASCARs, and it's just who I am. But sometimes it's kind of hard to justify the price on some things. But that's the end of Bramble Blast. I'll see these brambles again one level. Apparently I missed a DK barrel somewhere. And this is Cudgel's Contest. This is the boss for this world. Of course, you can always tell when it's a boss level if it's got the little skull on the map. On the map. Sorry, my voice cracked. Like, I don't understand why my voice still cracks. I'm 27 years old. I'm not 12. But I still have plenty of voice cracks. And it definitely shows in my commentaries. Oh well. I think I missed him that time. But this one's not too bad. It's a lot easier to deal with him and maneuver around whenever he doesn't hit the ground while you're on the ground, because it'll do like an earthquake thing and you'll be stuck for a second. And of course you want to look out for his club, his big spiky club. You don't want to get clubbed to death. That would certainly not be fun. Again with the voice cracks. It's like I'm going through puberty trying to do a Let's Play or something. Anyway. The more times you hit him, the more intense his jumps and more frequent the jumps get. But luckily, you only have to hit him a few times, so it's nothing really to worry about. Ooh, this ain't gonna be... Okay, saved it. I was a little worried there for a second. It didn't look good. But now it does. But I would say I recorded this. I'm not gonna record complete and total disaster all the time. Which, maybe one day I'll go back and re-record that Donkey Kong Country playthrough, because I could have done a little bit better. And I feel like my early playthroughs suffer because I didn't really know how to mess with the aspect ratio in my early videos. So a lot of stuff stretched out. Eventually I figured out how to fix that, luckily. But I guess it's only really a problem if you want it to be a problem. But still, I would like to go back and maybe re-record that one of these days. But yeah, that'll do it for Cudgel's Contest. Let's see what's going on in World Numero 4, Quattro. Hornet Hole. This must be one of the bee levels. You gotta look out for them bees, them biggity bees. You gotta look out for them bees. But you also Now, the cool thing about the honey, though, is you can stick to it, and there's neat idle animations if you sit there in the honey long enough. But even though these levels can be kind of tricky sometimes, I like the majority of the honeycomb levels. I also like honeycomb cereal. I can never find the strawberry kind anymore. I just assume they don't make it anymore. I'll have to look that up. Of course, I can't look it up right now because I'm watching the video on my phone while I have the laptop hooked up with the microphone. Doesn't really let me do both at once, because if I try to play a video while I have the mic hooked up, I'm pretty sure it'll just cancel one or the other out. Which is why for the longest time I would use my second computer, which I no longer have. Kinda just crapped the bed one day, and the place I took it to wouldn't fix it, and it's part of the reason why I lost a couple of months recording my music. But really, it was just a complete waste of time, because I had those files backed up on my other laptop, and I just wanted to try to wait it out to see if I could get my other laptop fixed, and obviously it didn't get fixed, and that's all fine and good, because I still had my other laptop. Sometimes it's good to have backups of things. But anyways, I just gotta look out for this bee here. Grab the hook. Look out for that hook. Bonk. Or should I say, There's something up here. I'm gonna try that again. I like how you can throw the kongs up. Yeah, a bunch of bananas. Neat. And there's also there's a Squitter spider in this level. I just didn't get him. Oh well. Got an extra life, though. And another jammin' guitar solo. To keep things moving along, it's time for the Crimland part, where suddenly the honeycombs turn into an amusement park. Which I like the music here. This music's pretty good. It's pretty chill. I like that little detail when they're moving up and down the slopes on the coaster. Although it's pretty much like the minecart levels from the first game. So I just call them all minecart levels. This music, it's something else sometimes. But it sure slaps! You gotta look out for those guys, because sometimes you gotta look out too whenever there's an enemy on one of those other minecarts. If you bump into them at the wrong time and you're going over like a bottomless pit, it'll definitely not be a fun time. I've got half the Kong letters so far. I think this is one of the ones where the Kong letters are pretty easy to get, since this level's pretty straightforward. You definitely want to look out for those red barrels with the red X on them, because they will close the doors and you will take a hit if you run into the door, which kind of lame, but oh well. But yeah, I like the little animation whenever they're moving up and down the slopes. They throw their arms up in the air. They're like, whee! But all this has me thinking about is how it's been so many years since the last time I rode a roller coaster. I would love to do that again someday. It's just not something I'd made time to do yet. Maybe I can cross that off my list in 2024. But the last time I rode a roller coaster was like 2011. It was because I was on a field trip. But anyways, folks, that'll be the end of this level, and this will be the end of this part, so I'll see you in the next one.